Previously on the other dungeon. The party dealt with the stress of inhabiting their newly acquired druid's hut and paid off the guard searching for them before meeting some of the locals and gathering information on the other local gangs and doing some personal grooming, and left their new hut in search of access to the hidden tunnels beneath the donks. And now, the other dungeon continues.
And I also know that in the wallet that the dwarf stole,
I reach into my pouch and take out the wallet.
I just look at you.
I open it. I see a piece of paper barbarically shoved back in.
See, it's all crumpled up now.
And I take the piece of paper and I hold it up to the rod and I say, "Just get you!" But
Nothing happens yet. The card does indeed have a picture of Black Swan. The Black Swan does indeed look similar to the dwarven letter on the rock, and there is a name on the card.
Paper says C-O-Ski. See, I shout out, C-O-Ski.
You yell, but nothing happens. Yeah.
I just yelled again for no reason.
Alright, you keep yelling.
Okay.
Still no dice. It seems like these tunnels are inaccessible until you're a Black Swan.
I mean, we can either walk back on ground above or we can try the word password.
You may try that. You try that. Nothing happens.
They may have just installed the system and left it alone. Go ahead, try password. I'll try admin.
I think Eriku knew enough to know that it's not a spoken word, that the Black Swans are rumored to have a tattoo that allows them, a magical tattoo that allows them to access the underground. Until you join the Black Swans or somehow get the tattoo, you're not likely to get down there.
So, are you saying that most likely these tunnels are useless to us?
No. Just wait. And when a black swan comes up, we kill him and jump in the tunnel. Go for it.
I mean, that sounds like maybe a possible plan.
Alright, do you guys want to hide in the nearby woods and wait till someone comes out of the tunnels?
Yes.
Alright, roll a stealth check to hide in the nearby woods.
All of us?
If you're all hiding, yeah. That's one of you standing out in the open.
I got 13.
I got 11.
My dexterity bonus makes that a 15, though.
Can I stand out here?
20, perfect 20. Natural.
Alright, the Kefo's hidden really well.
She looks
Looks
like
you guys only okay. And Karam out in the open.
Can I lay on the ground and act dead or something so they walk up to my body and then you guys... You're the decoy! Yeah.
That would be a bluff check on your part. Because you're playing dead, it's a bluff check.
Oh, you're horrible. You're a paladin. 18.
Alright, you fake dead pretty well. The other two guys are, Arog and Iraku are sort of standing at the edge of the wood, kind of like peeking out behind a tree, not hiding very well. But you know, your head pokes out every now and then to look. Whereas Bakefo is hidden very well.
we've all lost track of
And I assume Tiki Tak is also hidden very well with Bakefo. After several hours, a single young man dressed in black walks from around the rock. You didn't even see him. All of a sudden he's like, oh, he's here. Like he came out of nowhere, and he's walking north. He's walking away from your decoy.
Who is he closest to?
He's closest to your decoy. You can cough.
Just like, ah!
He doesn't seem to notice.
Where's his arm?
How far away am I from this heartless individual?
Probably about
Not
80,
caring about you at all, huh?
80, 90 feet.
How far away am I?
About 30 feet.
How far away am I?
You guys are all about 80, 90 feet. All three of you.
Alright.
The three of you are all on the edge of the forest, and Karam's like right near the rock.
Let's just stand up.
Hey, can I use fast movement to get his attention?
Okay, I'm just gonna stand up, flail.
Alright. You start flailing around. Alright, this time he turns around and sees you flailing around. Roll for initiative.
I got a 9, she got an 18.
Can I be using fast movement to go around through the bushes at this
On your
point?
turn. You could be heading that way right now if you like.
Okay. Oh, I got a 16. Yeah,
You could be heading that way, but that'll count as your move on your turn.
Well,
I got 18. Who beat 18?
+1.
So it's
Alright.
you two, and then Eric and Katie me.
Alright. So Karam, that's you first, as this guy, notices you.
Hey man, can I talk to you for a moment? Come over here for a second. I'd like to talk to you about my Lord and Savior, Iomade.
Diplomacy.
She's a wonderful woman. Goddess, creature of better than everyone.
Yeah, roll diplomacy, see if he buys into your evangelical spiel.
8.
He does not seem interested, he turns around and keeps walking.
Oh, so...
As he walks away, a fog sort of billows up around him and it becomes harder to see him.
Oh,
Yeah, we gotta get him.
How close am I now?
Probably about 50 feet away from this guy still. You could run on this turn, you'd only be 10 feet away. You can't, but if you run this turn, you can't do anything else. It takes a full round to run.
I'm running.
Alright, you run towards him, which puts you 10, 20 feet away from him. And then the Kefo,
How far away am I?
about 90 feet.
Oh, okay, I'm not running yet. Alright, well, guess I'm gonna run at him too.
Alright, and that'll be double your speed, so 60 feet, so you're about 30 feet away after this turn. Arog?
What is the range of the gun?
The range of the gun is about 100 feet, 150 feet. You can hit him with a gun from here.
That's far enough. Why can't we just kill him and chop off his arm?
Maybe there is a password
Just pull out the gun and threaten him with it.
He's so far away.
Start running!
My only option is to shoot him.
Draw the gun and run with it.
Gun or arrow. I can arrow him
What
as
does
well.
slight evil do? That's
I'm gonna shoot him with my longbow. Draw that shit, notch an arrow, and just let that shit fly where I saw him. I'm gonna try to hit him to at least antagonize him. Fuck! I rolled so low. I got like a 7.
Yeah. You fire into the fog, but you're pretty sure you missed.
Pretty sure I missed.
Back to Karam.
we thought that there was a tattoo on his arm.
You haven't seen the tattoo, but Eriku knows that the tattoo is what gets you through the tunnel.
He just got magically popped up. I'm assuming it's like a super
came out of
or it's like a magic. We're just gonna kill him anyway, buddy.
Okay, I'm trying to aim my crossbow at his leg.
Alright, you doing call shot leg?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, it was a miss. He picks up his speed and just runs farther into the fog and sort of veers into like the northern part of the forest. But he's surrounded by fog now, harder for you guys to hear. He's also running at his full speed,
How far away am I from him?
80 feet away.
What?
Yeah, he ran. You can run to keep up.
I'm just running after him still.
Alright, you keep running your full speed, so you'll get back to about 20 feet away from him at the end of your turn.
So I'm now 80 feet away from him.
You are more like 60 feet away, so actually on this turn you could probably run and catch up with him because you have the faster move speed.
I go into a barbarian raid. It's scary. It's like the Terminator too.
Alright, so at this point, you are neck and neck with him. You're like 5 feet away from him. You're not able to grab him yet, but you're like, you know, you can like, you're within hands, almost within hands reach. You're like grabbing at him, and because your move speed's faster than his, you might be able to overtake him next turn, and then you wouldn't have to do that.
Leaning on his neck.
You want to run your full speed after him too?
Yeah.
Alright, Arog takes off that direction.
Take off.
Alright, so Arog's running past you right now, Karam. You're like looking at all your friends chasing after the guy there. You're just standing still, they're like running past you.
Oh, really?
Alright, you follow. You run with Arog that direction. You'll be a little bit ahead of Arog.
How far away am I?
About 90 feet.
I'm gonna use my heavy crossbow then.
Alright, you gonna try and fire again?
13 plus.
Plus 1, 14.
That's a miss. You shot into the fog and he is far away. And you feel like you thought you were right on him, but you heard like no one yelled, no one screamed, so you're pretty sure you missed. He does an acrobatic move. He jumps and leaps up into the trees. He's like swinging from branch to branch, doing cool like flips and stuff. Ninja moves. It's still foggy, so you can only see like his shadow in the fog moving around. You have a hard time picking out his form.
In my barbarian rage, I use my own acrobatics to jump after him. Am I still really close?
You are close enough that if you do a successful acrobatics, you can attack this turn.
13.
Alright, so it's not great. You jumped up in the same tree as him, but he's a little bit higher in the tree. So he's just once again just barely out of reach.
Can I go and like grab for him? Or is that it?
You're a little too far. You're like just like I said, like within 5 feet, but it's just enough that your one hand can't grab him. You have to use your one hand to climb up here.
Oh, I can throw anything right now?
Yeah, a branch from this
I
tree.
grab my fishing net out of my bag, and I throw my fishing net at him.
Alright, so you jump up in this tree and you grab your fishing net from your bag. I'll let you use a swift, although it should usually be a standard or a move to get it out. I'll allow this for this time. So roll me a BAB plus Dex to try and hit him with this net.
22.
You've netted him.
Yeah.
I've netted him.
You got it.
Yeah. He's netted up in the tree.
Do I have a hold of him, or is he falling?
No, you threw the net, so he's like up in the tree. He's just got a net around him.
Okay.
Am I running up on this tree at this point?
You're a little bit farther away than Eriku because you don't have the same move speed. But if you run as fast as you can right now, you'll be like 10 feet away from the tree at the end of your turn.
Well, how far am I right now?
About 60 feet away from the tree.
Damn it. Alright, yeah, I'm running.
Alright, so you're at the bottom of the tree now, basically.
I'm continuing to run, hopefully catching up with them within this turn.
Yeah, you're about the same place as Bakefo around now. You're like 5-10 feet behind Bakefo.
See if you can shoot net on him. Or who will nod, like, that's nice.
I'm not bad.
Good job with the net.
Karam?
Throw at the bottom of the tree, it sounds.
Alright, so Karam runs to catch up. On his turn, he cuts himself out of the net, acrobatics out of the tree, not very gracefully, sort of like falls towards the ground, and like rolls out of it, and begins running again the other direction. He's about 40 feet away.
Can I use acrobatics to jump towards him and try and tackle him from above? 14.
You land at the base of the tree, your landing was better than his, not enough to tackle him, but it's enough to chase after him, and you can still roll a C and B this turn to tackle him after you chase after him.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Alright, roll that.
12.
Oh, just barely. You dive at his feet. Just miss. Just barely miss.
But I'm there though. I'm right there.
You are there.
That's all I
You're right at him, but you missed him.
I'm slinging his ass.
Oh.
I'm coming up.
We're close enough.
Alright, so you got your sling out?
I'm sling it.
Alright, you're winging your sling around your head.
And
It's a miss. A rock goes sailing his direction, though, but just misses.
I fire at him with my crossbow.
Alright, roll it.
13.
Miss.
Fuck!
Just barely. And the fog is still there. There's a thick layer of fog all around.
fire at him with my crossbow.
Yeah, 2.
Alright, as long as it wasn't a 1. You whiff it, though. You can tell that time your arrow was nowhere near hitting him. But it didn't hit any of your allies, luckily. Although it probably came very close to hitting one of your allies, it didn't hit them. Alright, he dives towards a rock and vanishes. You guys will know that you've just found one of the other entrance rocks.
That's cool.
But he's vanished into it.
I just run at it Harry Potter at the train station style.
Yeah.
With like full force intimidation.
Hope it's still open.
And just like
Bump into it.
Go for it.
Alright, roll me a reflex save when you run into the rock.
16.
So you'll take half damage as you sort of like bounce off. It would be 6, but instead it'll be 3. As you bounce. So 3 damage for running into a rock.
3 damage?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to try.
Yeah. Just smushed your nose up a little bit.
Okay, so I have a broken nose and a giant gash in my eye.
At least we know there's no window. No, that's it, you ain't getting in. Fuck, okay,
Yeah.
fuck!
Well, at this point, you guys can see the road sort of north of here. You can sort of see the Norland shopping district. So you're sort of at the northern edge of the woodlawn and the Donks Forest now.
Yeah.
Are we by the market?
You're near the market, what's called Northland. I believe that's where Karam was from, right? So you're near Karam's home territory.
We also have guards looking for us.
Yeah.
Hey, you got 5 guys off. There's
Yeah.
only 5 guys.
We're in the north.
Sort of the area you guys all met in. You're sort of near the convention center and all the bars and shops in the northern part of town. The part of town where Karam is from.
I want to go and stop crime.
Yeah. I want to drink.
By taking it over.
I'm down for stopping other people's stuff.
I'm going to stop other people's
Let's go to a nearby bar.
Hero.
The crime scene here.
You guys have been to a bar in Northland before, so if you guys wanted to go to the shopping district and find that same bar, that wouldn't be a problem for you.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Yeah.
let's go to that bar.
Why don't you guys return to the bar that you spent your first night together in?
Aww.
Ah.
Memories.
Yeah, you go there it's like early in the day still, it's about noon. So you guys are there sort of like right when they're opening up. So you're like the first customers of the bar today. You pass by a bunch of rich people shopping and doing their daily, getting this, getting that.
How far away from this bar is the Slime Boys hanging out that we were at?
I don't think we're in
I don't
Slime
really-
Boys territory because this is where I took that wallet
This
from.
is the northern part.
And the wallet had that swan.
And the
thing.
Slime Boys are sort of southeastern part of town, and Northland's sort of like northwestern.
We know that the
So the
wallet.
Black Swans kind of run this territory. Can I just roll for my gang knowledge? Just
Yeah, you can roll knowledge
select
local to
five.
see what you know.
I got a 4.
You're not sure. The rumors you've heard about Black Swan are very mysterious. There's not really rumor of any sort of base for them anywhere. They seem to pop up here and there, just carrying contraband goods. They're known for their smuggling. That's mostly what they do.
I was concerned that we attacked one of them, so now that might come out back in.
I mean, I'm kind of worried about that too.
But I'm
I was
just gonna-
hoping we would kill them, and we would never.
I'm
this
just-
was trap.
You guys aren't sure that guy got a really good look at you. I mean, other than the fact that one of you has one arm, that's going to be a dead giveaway for your gang every time.
Can I use roll for perception to see if I notice the guy that just ran away from us in the bar?
You may.
Maybe he's in there.
I'm just gonna make sure.
Possibility.
So I'm gonna take him out before he can do anything. 7, 8.
No, the only people in the bar you see are, you guys are the first ones here. It's like you guys and the bartender right now.
Can I look around the bar to see if there's anyone who looks like they're smugglers? Oh, plus 5. 14.
You guys are the first people here. So the only people here are you guys and the bartender. So as far as people looking like smugglers, you guys probably look the most like smugglers in here right now.
Can we show the bartender the card?
Yeah.
Let's take any approach we can.
Alright, you guys want to go up to the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to show them the card? You want to buy a drink as well?
I'm gonna buy a drink.
How much is a drink?
Early bird special. It's 2 for 1 gold right now.
Oh,
Happy hour.
I throw out 2 gold and buy my friends some
What?
drinks.
Alright. Everybody's got drinks? Do you want to, like, also tip or no?
I'm gonna also tip the waitress 3 gold.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Buy the waitress a drink too.
That's a good tip.
Or the bartender, whatever.
The bartender is female, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm just like smoozing the bartender right now.
Alright, so the attractive young woman bartender and you are getting along famously. Since you've tipped really well, you're the first customers here, you're all drinking. You guys strike up a conversation. She's in a nice, friendly conversation with you guys. You start off light, small talk. What are your names? How, where you're from? Talk about the weather. You guys have had a nice opening conversation now, so if you want to breach any other subjects, you may.
I pull out the Swan Ask Homeboy paper and I tap Air 2 on the shoulder with it.
I take the card in 2 fingers, all casually, and I flash it at the bartender. And I see what her reaction is.
Looks sort of confused and aroused.
I hand the card back to Baguette.
Baguette takes it as equally smoothly and puts it back, but this time in her cloak pocket, not in the wallet, because we're not going to discuss that wallet again.
Alright, you
So
tuck
I
that
don't
away.
know anything about this picture.
I told you guys what was going on.
We know what's up with that.
Oh, it's time out.
We made the connection as the Black Swan symbol, because they run the tunnels, and that's the symbol that was on the tunnel.
You can just like ask her to like use it.
I'm like, what? Have you ever seen that symbol before? Can I ask her that?
You may. Diplomacy.
What? No, you do.
I do have 4.
17 diplomacy.
I'm not really supposed to talk about it.
I'm like, why? Because I, get told.
She looks around and says, I guess no one's here. Sometimes we get beer from the Black Swan. Imported beer from the other side of the wall. We pay a little extra for it and we have to pay off the guards when we sell it, but it's better than the swill they make here. So occasionally, the bartendress has seen this symbol.
Do you know who Oski is?
Diplomacy.
15.
She's heard the name, but she's not her. She assumes someone important, if his name's on that card. She says, the Black Swan are usually pretty clandestine. It's rare that something like that would be floating around.
Do you know where I can find out who that is?
Diplomacy.
The ketchup puts 1 gold on the counter.
19. Oh.
Alright, she takes the gold and says, look for the folks in the market selling rare goods, imported goods. They probably know more than I do. She says also, in the southern part of town, a lot of the drugs imported are brought in by the Black Swan. So if you know any drug dealers, you might be able to make some connections as well.
Who can I ask about finding some cash that might lead us to a drug dealer that we can fucking rough up?
I look inside the wallet because I still haven't done that yet. Sorry, I need to know.
Roll a perception check.
You are straight up a digit.
Perception check Bakefo to look in the wallet.
Me and the board.
2.
You open the wallet, you don't see anything. You don't even see the 2 gold in there. This looks empty to you.
I take another gold out and buy 2 more beers. Both for myself.
Yeah. Well, since you win, I don't like it.
Alright, you guys sit around and get drunk with the bartendress.
I asked the bartender if she knows where I can get some cash around here.
Diplomacy.
And I wink. 1.
Oh!
Yeah, she'll look at you with kind of a gross look on her face. She'll say, that's more of a South Donks thing.
No, she didn't.
And I'm like, since I'm from the South Bronx, Donks, baby. And I wink at her again.
Alright, diplomacy.
I'm gonna roll
I've never heard Eric
2.
Alright.
Better.
She's gonna laugh and turn away and say, I've got some stuff to do. And kind of leaves you to your own devices and leaves the conversation.
I'm gonna stand up in defense of my friend and be like, from an old lady, and be like, you wish you had stuff to do, or something like that. I put my arm around Air 2 and look at Aaron and Kara and be like, let's go find some pecs.
Did you guys want to leave the bar?
And I said thank you for your time.
Yeah, and
I
Karen
say thanks.
profusely apologizes and thanks the bartenders. You say thanks as well. You guys head out
Yes.
after you finish your drinks, of course.
And I'm all like, let's go find some people selling Southern goods because we know they got the good goods. To my buddies.
Good. I just say stumble out.
Where do you guys want to go look for good goods at?
That
In the
shopping
market.
district. that
Yeah.
I know about.
Alright, so roll perception or knowledge local to find some fancy stuff.
What are we doing?
We're gonna go to the market because we're gonna find someone selling imported goods because they'll be with the Black Swans and they'll have drugs. I don't know.
You can't tell good. Also, this would also be a good chance if you have the appraisal skill. The appraisal might help you find like the fancier imported goods that cost more money.
No, from the south. Can I roll it anyway?
Yeah, you can always roll it with your just basic ability modifier.
I got a 16.
But you see some shiny stuff and you think it's, oh, that's some fancy stuff we don't have in the South Donks. So you see some things that like grab your eye that are definitely not things that you have in the southern part of town.
So I should be looking for things from the southern part of town.
Not if you want imported things.
What are we looking for here?
Fancy things.
Fancy things?
Rare goods.
No.
Erika's found some shiny things that she thinks are imported. She's not necessarily an authority on this, but she sees some things that she knows aren't sold in the southern part of town.
I let everyone know about the shiny shit I see.
Knowledge and ability.
Appraise would tell you what it's worth and stuff. It's definitely fancy jewelry, fancy gold and silver items. You find like a jewelry shop. That stuff seems imported. You know that no one around here makes that kind of stuff. Maybe a fancy glass blower shop. Seems to have some imported glassworks as
To
well.
the glass blowing shop, you guys?
Hey man.
I'll see if they have any pipes there.
Alright, you guys roll perception when you go in?
All of us?
Yeah, if you're all going to the glass shop.
I'm going in.
I'm gonna stay outside looking for possible suspicious gang related.
I got a 16.
I got 14.
Alright, so Arog, roll a perception on outside, and Karam, you can roll a perception on jewelry.
I got a 14.
17.
Oh.
Alright, so Karam wanders alone into a jewelry shop, finds lots of fancy jewels, pearls, fancy crafted bracelets, necklaces, arm guards, crowns, all kinds of fancy jewelry. You are from this part of town, so you've probably been to shops like this before. You've seen this kind of stuff, but it's fancy and it's the kind of stuff grew up around. Not necessarily that you could afford, but was sold in this area. You've been to these shops before, and I think a lot of it you would know from the looks of it is not made by a local smith. You know a lot of the local gold and silver workers that work in the northern part of town, and some of this stuff looks like their work, and some doesn't. Meanwhile, Arog is outside looking for suspicious folk.
Keep an eye on people.
Keeping an eye on people.
See if there's any like slick ass handshakes going down.
At this point of the day, you don't see anything like that. It just seems to be like people walking around doing their daily shopping, some people buying like fruits and vegetables, other people going to these fancy shops and buying clothes or jewelry, or just blowing their excess money if they're part of that upper class, which you are. You'll see a lot of people from your part of town shopping now from the High East. A lot of people from the High East come here and do their shopping. Meanwhile, inside the glass blowing shop, the two of you, it's packed with different glass blown shapes, animals, balls. There are pipes, glass pipes if you like.
I want to pick up look at one of the glass pipes and make eye contact with a salesperson in this establishment.
Alright, roll diplomacy.
13.
Alright, a salesman will rush over and make sure you're not touching anything and ask how he can help you find folks today in sort of a pretentious kind of way.
I'm gonna be like, hey, do you have anything to fill this pipe?
Diplomacy.
Got it.
He says those pipes and the water pipes that you see beside them are for tobacco use only, and you can find that down the street at the tobacconist.
I look around and I'm like, I'm an artist. You got any work? And I roll a 6.
He kind of scoffs and like gestures his hand at all the magnificent glasswork surrounding you.
I insist on it that he hires me.
He asks what your credentials are.
I'm an artist. I can paint. I have a fine eye.
Alright, roll me diplomacy on that.
I got an 8.
He doesn't seem to, you seem like someone from the South Donks, not really his caliber of artist, unless you can prove that you're worthy of a job. He was looking for a new sign painter, but unless you have a portfolio to show him, he's not really interested.
I tell him I can paint some shit right now. What do you do? What sign does he want me to paint?
Alright, is that a diplomacy? Does let me paint your sign and see what happens?
Yeah, 4.
He says, oh, I'd rather not. We have a very strict vetting process. Let's go through my manager, and they want someone that has the same aesthetic ideals as them, and if you're really interested, maybe you could submit something, but he can't just let you paint the sign, he might get in trouble.
I take out the stolen fur coat from earlier on episode 1, and I take my red paint and brush, and I paint a magnificent sign on their coat that says, "Hire me."
Alright, roll your profession skill on that coat painting.
Craft painter?
I have craft.
Alright, so use your craft painter to paint this jacket sign.
13.
Alright, you make a slightly above average jacket sign. You will kind of scoff at it and say, that's not really what we had in mind. Maybe if you think that's really nice, you could take it to one of the fashion shops and see if they want it.
I look at Eriku and I'm like, yeah, fashion.
I put on the jacket and I strut.
Yeah.
Alright, you walk out of the store with your Hire Me jacket on.
Well, at first I strut kind of around the store.
Cool.
And I kind of like make some of the glass jiggle.
Alright, so he like rushes over and like stabilizes it. He's very worried. You can tell he kind of wants you guys to leave.
I pick up the biggest, craziest long glass piece I can find, and I look at the man and I'm like, tell me where to get the good kind of tobacco. Wink, wink, wink. And I like try to intimidate him into telling me.
I also want to roll for intimidation.
Yeah, you guys can roll intimidation together as you like terrorizing this poor guy in his glass shop.
19.
Plus 13. 15. I got 15.
19 and 15.
Alright, so Bakefo definitely intimidating with the glass and with your help. And scary enough for this guy. And he's like, seriously, I don't know what you guys want. I don't know what you're talking about. If you want fancy tobacco, go talk to the tobacconist. That's all I know.
Well, I'd say to him, maybe he wouldn't be so scared if you weren't so rude, and I leave.
Alright, you leave.
And then I say, catch, and toss that at him and also leave.
Alright, I'll roll a reflex save, see if he catches it. He does not. It falls to the ground and breaks. He yells, come back here! As you guys run out of the store.
Yeah.
So you guys leave the store. Arog's outside nearby. You'll see him kind of like scoping things out. So you guys reunite with Arog outside.
I plan to run towards the jewelry shop. So I'm in the notion of doing that.
Towards the darkest alley I can find.
Alright, so you see the two of them come out of the store and sort of go two different directions.
I'm still wearing the coat.
Our painted coat.
Hire me.
It says hire me on the back.
I'm going with the coat.
Alright, you follow Bakefo into the dark alley.
Some good reason you guys just ran the fuck out of that store.
Alright, Arog follows Bakefo down to the dark alley while Eriku heads towards the jewelry shop. Sort of burst open the door. We'll give Karam a moment before you burst open the door though. So Karam, what were you doing in the meantime?
I was looking for pieces that I knew were going from the south.
Alright. Roll me maybe a knowledge local or appraisal.
40 extra speed. One.
So meanwhile in the jewelry shop, Karam's looking at all the jewelry, but can't, like before she knows some of this is not from around here, but she can't tell where any of it's from. She just knows a lot of the local jewelry makers, and she could tell a couple of these items aren't their style. So you're sort of looking through a bunch of stuff. You can't, a lot of it's behind glass, so you can't touch or handle any of it. But as you're like sort of intently staring at one of the glass cases, Eriku barges in with her one arm.
Is there a shopkeep?
Of course.
I'm still wearing the hire me fur coat. And I walk right up to the shopkeep and I'm like, Doski here? I come to see him.
Diplomacy.
8.
They'll nervously and sheepishly say, what are you talking about?
I'm gonna roll for intimidation and try to get it out of him.
Alright, so roll for intimidation, tell me what you say.
I know you know, and I rolled a 17. Wait, hold on. Plus, no, I rolled a 19, so you're gonna tell me where OC is.
Alright, they're like, listen, we don't know anything. Look, occasionally, we buy a few things from the Black Swan, okay? We can't deny that. But we don't know this Ovsky you're talking about.
Oh, can I buy some stuff off of you?
Yeah, you want some fancy jewelry? That's what we sell.
Oh no, I want some of that other stuff you were talking about.
That's all I've talked about is jewelry.
So you guys buy jewelry from this Ovsky person? That's what you just said?
We sometimes import some Black Swan jewelry, and I maybe have heard the name Ovsky, but I've never met this person. Look, you're not with the guard, are you?
No, I want a job.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look at my jacket. I painted it myself.
I hear they're hiring down the falafel stand.
Okay.
Good luck.
I'm still outside,
I leave.
All right, you leave. Karam, in the meantime, has seen her friend come and go. Is looking at some of the jewelry. Do you do anything? Do you do anything else? Do you follow her out?
I'm outside. You're chasing after me.
I'm not in the room.
It's just Karam right now. So you do anything else in this jewelry store, or do you follow Eriku out?
No, I think I'm going to talk to this girl more.
All right, what do you say?
The person you buy this imports from it. I'm very interested in buying some of my imports. Is there a way I can contact this person and I slide those gold?
How much?
2 pieces.
2 gold.
And I'm rolling for diplomacy.
You're from this part of town, so your last name might carry weight if you do have one. Your surname or your family name. Even if you don't know your surname, if you know your father or mother's name, if you want to make that up. Because you are from this part of town. So you could be like, I'm Steve's daughter, and that would be fine. But if you give me something, either a last name or a parent's name, that might help your diplomacy roll, is all I'm saying.
Okay. Zuru's son.
Alright, so you say you're Zuru's son, see if that gets you a deal?
11.
They know Zuru, seen you around town before. They say, I don't know if your dad would like it if we got you, mixed up with that group.
These people ripped me off, and I really am actually trying to fight them and curse them so
We wouldn't recommend getting into trouble with the Black Swan. That's not a group you want to mess with. They'll kill you in your sleep.
that's none of your concern. Right down.
They say, well, if you're really interested, you should go talk to your family. They deal with them too.
Karen! Well, I don't want you to buy anything, so I'm just going
Alright, so you and Eriku outside need to roll perception checks to find your friends hiding in an alleyway. And our friends in the alleyway can roll stealth checks to hide.
I got a 2 on my stealth.
Yeah, you're not going to be hard to find.
Nope, I'm a big old halfway.
17.
You easily find them in the alleyway, and Eriku can follow if you like.
I go to the falafel stand.
So Karam heads to the alleyway after Erog, and Eriku heads to the falafel stand.
I tell everyone I'm going to the falafel.
Alright, so Eriku yells out, I'm going to the falafel stand, so you guys know where she's headed.
Alright.
And Karam meets you guys in the alleyway, looking for Pesh addicts.
Did you find anything important? Do we know any more information now?
Jewelry dealer told me that she thinks my parents are involved with blood swap, which is not very surprising to me. No way! Oh my
Parents sound
god.
like pretty
Your
bad.
parents? The real one!
So,
I'm fine with taking down my parents, you guys.
do you think you can find your parents around here? We just go talk to them.
You can probably roll for it.
I should rough them up.
I guess if they still live in the same house.
Yeah, you know where your parents live. You don't have to roll for that. You know where your parents are. You know where their shop is. I mean, you left home on your own accord.
I have 2 parents. One's human, one's elf. They're lawyers. Okay, can I look around for a drug addict?
Yeah, perception check.
Let's buy this living.
Yeah. The only drug addicts you see around here are your boar and Eriku, who is walking towards the falafel stand. Eriku approaches the falafel stand. They ask if you would like a falafel.
I tell them I would like a job.
Do you turn around and point at the back of your jacket?
Yeah, I
Roll me a diplomacy check.
do. 16.
So the guy at the falafel stand will say he loves your jacket, and they are hiring.
I tell them not anymore because I got a job here.
Alright, affirmative. Alright, he's gonna sign you up.
I go right to work.
Alright, you start slinging falafels. You get behind the falafel stand. Your friend Eriku is now spending her day making falafel.
I roll for intimidation to intimidate people into buying 300 falafels.
Alright, roll your intimidation check.
8.
You seem to be scaring people away from the falafel stand, and your boss tells you to maybe tone it down a little bit. It's more of a friendly atmosphere. We're not trying to make people eat falafel. We want people to enjoy falafels, bring them in. Your first day of work, you get to share the tips. So you're going to work for 8 hours, and you're going to get some money.
I'm like by the falafel stand, and I am looking around at everyone, looking for some people who look like they might want drugs.
Alright, perception check.
I gotta detect poison. As a detect poison, will that work to look for drugs?
No, it will not, unfortunately.
Alright, I'm looking, but I'm still looking with that perception. That's 5. That's a 10. All together.
Eriku, Tiki Taka. Those are the 2 addicts you see nearby.
I want to casually ask customers, like, hey, Y'all know anything about any foul creatures that are black? Casually.
Maybe linguistics and diplomacy to get your meaning across.
That's getting lost in translation. I'm just y'all know about the black swans?
Alright, so every time someone buys a falafel, you're like, hey man, you know about the black swan? Diplomacy.
Okay, because I got a 4.
Yeah. Everyone kind of shrugs you off and walks over their falafel and doesn't reply to you.
As long as they're paying. I go into a rage while working so I can work faster.
Alright, you have a falafel rage while everyone else goes to Karen's house.
We are not going to your parents' house to rough shit up.
I don't know where we get there though.
Okay, on the way to Karen's parents' house.
Tell your father you're ready to be a man and join the Black Swan. We're your posse. Can I be deceptive?
It is in your mind in the name of good.
Is that deceptive? Is it deceptive?
I'm trying to stop your dad.
Yeah.
Trying to stop the Black Swan, their legal group, family business.
I don't need law.
Yeah, I mean the other side of the law.
Law.
I need a defense attorney, damn it.
Lawyer up and tune in next time for more The Other Dungeon. Fans and friends on Patreon. Donate today. Keep Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater alive.